be a member, you just have to hate everything. And it's happening every single hour of every single day on every single news channel and in the mainstream media nonstop. That's all they do. That's their go-to. And that is what now the media in this country has become. And it's why I've been telling you since 2007 and 8, journalism in America is dead. It's done. These so-called journalists, they don't care about truth anymore. Facts be damned. Evidence be damned. Because if they did care about truth, then they'd actually start doing their jobs. Because we know of crimes committed. They'd be investigating massive scandals that are staring them right in the face. They could win their Pulitzer Prizes they're dreaming about. None of what we're about to tell you is important to the media, but it all should be. They're not doing their job. It's about the system of justice in America. It's now hanging in the balance, equal application under the law. The media ignores this. Why? Because they need their Trump hate addiction fix. You know, an explosive report, The Hill's John Solomon, revealing that written FBI documents show agents working on the Clinton email investigation all believe laws were broken. In addition, 17 witnesses interviewed after James Comey already drafted the exoneration statement of Hillary. The fix was in. It was rigged. It was exoneration before investigation. We have even more proof. Does the media even care about it? Or are they spreading their Trump-Russia conspiracy theories? Is that more important after a year of no facts and a year of anonymous sources? How about, Trump-hating and Clinton-loving FBI agent Peter Strzok and his FBI lawyer girlfriend, Lisa Page, completely trashing President Trump on text messages? They called him a lonesome human being, an idiot. And Strzok and Page also talked about an insurance policy in Andy's office, which we believe is the deputy FBI director, Andrew McCabe, in case Donald Trump won the election. And remember, it was Strzok and Comey. They're the ones that changed the verbiage in the exoneration letter before the investigation was done. None of this is important to the media. It should be. There's special counsel Robert Mueller, his merry team of Democratic generous donors. They don't donate to Republicans, 50 grand to Democrats, including Hillary and Barack Obama. And of course, none of them gave to President Trump's campaign. One of Mueller's lead investigators, Janie Ray, actually represented Clinton and the Clinton Foundation in 2015. You can't get a bigger conflict of interest. Nothing from the media. And we have Mueller's top prosecutor, the expert Andrew Weissmann, the professional he is. He led the extremely controversial obstruction of justice case against Arthur Andersen Accounting as part of the Enron scandal. He destroyed that company, cost tens of thousands of people their jobs, and was overturned in the U.S. Supreme Court in 05-9-0. Yeah, that's a great guy to put on your team. And then he also sent 4 Merrill Lynch executives to jail. Their convictions were also overturned. That case by the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Does the media not care about any of this? If it was a bunch of Republican donors and giving donations to Trump, investigating Hillary Clinton, don't you think it would be the biggest story ever? Really? Now, next, of course, you have the demoted DOJ official Bruce Orr, his wife Nellie. Bruce Orr meets with members of Fusion GPS before and after the 2016 election. And Nellie, his wife, Nellie Orr, worked for the firm that Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid to produce the fake, phony propaganda Russian anti-Trump dossier. And then finally, the FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, his wife Jill, gets 700 grand from a longtime Clinton ally. Remember, former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe? Democrats, all that money given for a failed Virginia state Senate run, that is an astronomical sum in a Senate race in Virginia. These are all individually massive stories, not even mentioning Uranium One, about, let's see, bribery, extortion, money laundering, kickbacks, and they knew it before CFIUS, before 9 separate agencies approved of giving 20% of our uranium, knowing that Vladimir Putin's thugs were in America trying to get a foothold into the uranium industry in our country. We don't have enough. We need more. It's insane. Then you look at the money behind that. You have mountains of evidence here of wrongdoing. The media is not touching any of it. Why? Because the media is infatuated. They cannot control themselves anymore, and it's all about hating President Trump. It's kind of like a sickness. It doesn't have a cure, apparently never will. They can't see anything else. That is their singular focus. Even, by the way, they would prefer kissing the rings and backsides of dictators. The media is betraying you, the American people. Now, you would think the press, you'd think they'd have some sort of ethical compass, something that would move them towards truth. But they're now so corrupted, morally bankrupt, they hate any and everybody that doesn't do it their way. The media tonight, they're hyperventilating. Again, foaming at the mouth. The back and forth between President Trump, former White House advisor Steve Bannon. President Trump responding to comments Bannon apparently made in his soon-to-be released book by Michael Wolff. Here's the thing. The media loves Steve Bannon for the moment. They love when Republicans or conservatives are fighting and create a circular firing squad. In real life, they hate Bannon and they hate Trump. But they'll, right now they'll be supportive of Steve Bannon if they think he's advancing their cause. They love these intramural fights. They love palace intrigue. They love to analyze who's up, who's down. It's another example. The media's priorities are so screwed up. When do they ever talk about you? When do they ever talk about making your life better, your kids' lives better? Here's another thing that I've said before. Anyone who works in the White House, they're there to serve the country and the president. That's it, and the American people. And that should be the main goal. People asking me all day today, what do you think about, this? I think this. I think the agenda of the American people is point 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1,000. And that should be the focus of everybody. This isn't going to be a story in 48 hours. Instead of blowing this out of proportion, like the media always does, maybe they should be focused on this. Look at this painting. It's by John McNaughton, guy that's out in Utah. Great guy, great painter. I bought that original painting. See that guy sitting on the bench? He represents, that's called the Forgotten Man painting. That represents the forgotten men and women in this country. All those people in poverty, all those people on food stamps, all those people that don't have jobs. We should be focused on creating jobs, energy independence, securing our borders, fighting back against radical Islamists, rebuilding the military. That's where my focus is. Joining us now with reaction, former Deputy Assistant to the President, Fox News contributor Sebastian Gorka, former Arkansas Governor, Fox News contributor Mike Huckabee. Here'll be the headline, Dr. Gorka. Hannity says media is like drug addicts. And you know what? I do. Because they wake up every day and they gotta hate this president, and they have ignored so much. What do you think's going on?
Sean, Happy New Year. That was quite the monologue. I'm going to go one step further. In the commercial breaks between the CNN segments, I think they're handing around a crack pipe of Trump hatred. The analogy is perfect. They need that dopamine dump because none of it is logical. As you've said, for the last 11 months, they haven't been able to say one positive thing about this president's work, whether it's the stock market, the jobs, the securing the border, the defeating ISIS. None of it matters to them. It's all obsessive, psychologically obsessive hatred of a man who they don't understand, and all the people who voted for him. They don't understand what happened on November the 8th, and they still don't get it today, and that's why the hatred continues to build, but they just make themselves irrelevant, Sean, and that's great for Fox, and that's great for all patriots.
Governor, I got to imagine it's a little more personal for you when the media is sitting there attacking your own daughter and questioning whether or not she told the truth about making a pie, and they want proof that she made a pie. I mean, that's how idiotic and superfluous some in the media have now become.
Well, first of all, I can tell you she made the pie because she made it for us at Christmas, so that I can confirm.
I'm glad I wasn't there because I was on a diet,
both.
But go ahead.
Yeah, you don't want this pie. But I got to disagree with both you and Dr. Gorka. Here's the reason. You've said that the media are like drug addicts, and I think that's being very unkind to the drug addicts, because I've known a lot of drug addicts, Sean, and a lot of them actually go into rehab and they get better. The press never gets better. They keep getting worse. They become more obsessed with the destruction of Donald Trump than they are with the building up of America. This is a president who's had a remarkable year. Oh, yeah, he says some things in tweets that drives everybody off the ranch. But the truth is, our economy's better, our security's better. We're trusted by nations that hated us before and didn't trust us. The Middle East is rapidly changing in a positive way. He's had the guts to stand up for the Iranian people against their autocratic, totalitarian, brutal, terroristic government. And they can't see any of that. Drug addicts sometimes have good days. I just don't know that the media is capable of having a good day, Sean. They're just not able.
How did they ignore all of this truth about law breaking and corruption? How do they not tell any good story for the most part, Dr. Gorka? Very, very little. How is it possible that that they're so myopic that there's nobody in charge saying, guys, we're a little bit biased here, and it's really obvious. This is now a crisis of confidence in what we do. I got to imagine there's somebody that wants to be a professional.
I think the answer is very simple, Sean. I think you alluded to it in your monologue, because it's no longer about the truth for these individuals. It's no longer about really performing a public service. Journalism used to be about informing the American people so they can make the right judgments, especially when it comes to an election. The media has become like the Obama White House. Narrative is everything. Remember that dedication to Hillary's master's thesis. She said, the fight is everything. It's not about the truth. It's not about America. And if you love America, like this president does, like his family does, then you are the problem. Remember, leadership has been reasserted, whether it's with little Kim in North Korea, whether it's in NATO, whether it's in the Middle East, whether it's in Jerusalem. American leadership has been reasserted by Donald J. Trump, and they can't stand it, because for them, we are the problem. America is the problem.
What's your take, Governor, on what happened earlier today with Bannon and the president?
Well, it's disappointing, and in part because just a few days ago, Steve Bannon was considered by the press to be the unhinged. He's crazy. He's a wild man. Suddenly, this guy, Michael Wolff, quotes him in a book saying terrible things about President Trump, and now he's a hero. But, I mean, the only gig he's got in his future is perhaps being an occasional commentator at MSNBC, joining the other thumbsuckers over there who just can't get enough of themselves. But Sean, bottom line is this. There are two things you give to someone when you're hired in a political context. You give them loyalty and you give them confidentiality. Those are the two virtues that are more important than anything else you can bring. And if you see how many people have maybe been in the administration, they've come out, they've had integrity. Whether it's Sean Spicer, Reince Priebus, Sebastian Gorka, there have been a number of people who came out, and they didn't go out and trash the president or the other people they worked with at the White House. Steve Bannon said all along that the entire Russia investigation was a farce. Those are his words, a complete farce. Yeah. There was no collusion.
Dr. Gorka, let me get your take on it.
Whose story changed? Wasn't Donald Trump's. Wasn't Donald Trump's.
Dr. Gorka, last word.
Look, I'll let Steve talk for himself. He's a big boy. But I know that Mike Wolff is a hack. His last book, 13 people complained about misquoting and having their quotes.
So you suspect he was misquoted? There was a Twitter feed tonight quoting me saying something that I wanted to work for Trump. I've never said that. If that's true in there, I haven't seen the book.
I was told to meet with this man as part of his book project. I knew his reputation, and I refused to meet with Wolff. The Guardian is the lowest of the low radical left-wing newspaper. All I know is there is no Russia collusion because the president told me so. Jared, Don Jr. are patriots. I couldn't care less what the Guardian or Mike Wolff says.
You doubt Bannon said it?
I wasn't there, and it doesn't sound like... Look, if Steve wanted to attack somebody, he wouldn't do it in somebody else's book. He'd do it himself. That's the kind of guy he is.
All right, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. When we come back...